Yep, it's been a while since I did a review. Let's go.
This song is copyright free. You can use it for anything.
Well, I gotta say that 2024 has been the best year of my life. I left high school, got a job, and made it to 1K subs last year. It was pretty good. But what made it last year even better were the movies. The movies were pretty much the main thing that I was looking forward to last year, because the movies of 2023 didn't seem too interesting to me, or were just complete garbage. But in 2024, we had tons of good stuff, like Dune 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, Bad Boys 4, Inside Out 2, Twisters, and many more. But you get the point. But there were two movies that I was really looking forward to seeing that year. The movies have characters that I really liked as a kid, or at least just one of them. Those movies were Deadpool 3 and Sonic 3. That's right, Deadpool and Wolverine and Sonic 3 were my most anticipated threequels of 2024. And there are a lot of reasons for that as well. But I'm gonna start with two for right now. The first reason is that these movies have a lot of passion put into them and care about the fans more than the studios. Or that more than the studios, that made no sense. No, what I meant to say was that they care about the fans more than money. That makes a lot more sense. And what better way than to have two of the most talented directors in the film industry? Sean Levy, who worked with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in the past, and then we have Jeff Fowler, who has made the animated cutscenes for the Shadow the Hedgehog game that no one really talks about nowadays. And the second reason is that these movies have high adrenaline, heart-pumping action scenes that can make you feel pumped up for the rest of the day and make you not sleep at all. My gosh, I hate my voice. So yeah, both of these movies were pretty good and made my year really fun. This is mostly because I made a lot of content on Sonic last year, which grew my channel, and I thank you guys for that. So, without wasting any time, let's get into reviewing the best threequels of 2024, starting with the best movie of the summer, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Deadpool and Wolverine was one of the films I looked forward to seeing last year. From the film's announcement to the first and second trailer to its release, it was a hype moment for me. I was pretty excited about the movie, so that meant I had to bring a friend with me and do a vlog for it. So this film takes place 6 years after the events of Deadpool 2. Wade decided to retire from being a hero and take a job of being a car seller, but gets roped back into being Deadpool because his world will be disintegrated without Wolverine being the anchor being. So he gets the worst Wolverine from another world to get the anchor being. No, that made no sense. So he decided to get the worst Wolverine from another world to be the anchor being and save his world from being destroyed by the TVA and Cassandra Nova. I know I say this when I do these types of videos, but whatever. The plot in this movie makes sense because it's very clear and engaging. It's not like the other Marvel movies that have this crappy cookie cutter plot. It adds something different to the table by having the TVA involved. Honestly, the visuals look good. The way that the blood is splattered everywhere just looks amazing. The color grading doesn't look too bad, and I know that most people have been complaining about the color grading during the void scene, but it's perfect because it's a wasteland or something. I have no idea. I don't understand color grading, okay? Don't get mad at me. The action has to be one of the best I've ever seen in my life. It's filled with adrenaline and makes your heart race every time. I like the action scenes with Deadpool and Wolverine in it because they are well done and well choreographed. I love seeing it because it was what people have been waiting to see for 15 years. 15 years, because we got this atrocity. I mean, after all, X-Men Origins was that bad. And you know what? Everyone in that raid scene was the best. But we'll get to these characters later. Sean put a lot of effort into these action scenes to make them heart-pumping and adrenaline-inducing, and I respect him for that. I commend him. I might need to cut that part out, that made no sense. Or I might just keep it in. The characterization is the best in the movie. This movie knows how to develop characters and have them grow into something that we still like. The best characters in this movie are Deadpool and Wolverine. The movie characterized them so well that I love them even more. Wade wants to matter, to have a purpose so that he can impress his girlfriend Vanessa. But as he goes on his multiverse journey to save his world from dying, he realizes that his purpose and he also matters no matter what. Deadpool can be funny at times, but he can also be serious as well, and it's balanced pretty well. But if you guys want to share your criticisms about what I'm saying right now, you can do that. I'm happy to take criticism, just please keep it civil. Wolverine was the best character in this movie. He had the best characterization ever. He lost all of his friends because he couldn't save them. He didn't want to wear the classic suit in the first place because he said it looked stupid, but now he wears that suit to remind him of this mistake, and it defies him for who he is. But when he was saving Wade's world from Cassandra Nova, he realizes that he was the best Wolverine and that he was an X-Men. He was the X-Man. I feel like I'm trying too hard to be excited. I loved the other people who appeared in the movie, and I'll tell ya, it was a surprise, and I was even shocked, even though I got spoiled for it on YouTube. The surprises were Blade, Elektra, and Gambit. I don't think X-23 was a surprise because she was shown in the final trailer, but whatever. They were well characterized. They never had an actual ending because of them being pruned by the TVA. It wasn't some cheap cash grab or money-hungry scheme, or at least I don't think so. They were here for a purpose. Their purpose was to finish off their stories and give these characters a proper ending for them. Well, I don't know if one of them wants to come back, but I think Daphne Keane might come back as X-23 in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, but we'll see. Well, I'm gonna be honest, this movie was pretty damn good. I love the visuals, characters, action, and the plot. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Sean Levy have done an amazing job with this movie because they actually gave a crap. This movie wasn't a soulless cast. What am I saying, dude? This movie wasn't a soulless cash grab that most of the Disney movies were. It was made with a sense of passion to it, and they wanted to satisfy the fans as much as they can, and they did it perfectly. This movie made $1 billion because it was super rewatchable, and I don't blame everyone, because why wouldn't it be? It was super memorable, and I would watch this many times on Disney Plus, and it would never get old for me. The reviews were also good as well. Audience loved it, and critics say it was good, but not good enough for them. Critics don't have a taste of taste anymore. I'm going too fast, am I? Critics don't have a sense of taste anymore, don't they? I did hear that a sequel to that movie might happen in a few years, and they are returning in Secret Wars, and Hugh Jackman said that he wants to keep playing Wolverine for the rest of his life, till he's 90. So there could be a chance, but it's just a rumor, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, if they are gonna do a sequel, they have to do it right, because I don't want it to undo everything that the third movie did. Anyways, now that we got Deadpool 3 out of the way, let's now move on to the other best threequel ever, Sonic Movie 3. Now, this is also one of the movies I've been waiting to see for 2 years. I was so hyped for the movie that I had to make a vlog about it. I went to see this movie opening night with the bros, and I gotta say, before the movie, we lost so many brain cells that night.
Thought about it, we're gonna be renaming the bro system to 5 guys, because there's 5 guys here.
But other than that stupid Five Guys joke we were making, I've had the best night of my life, and I will never forget it. So, in this one, Sonic and his team face a new threat named Shadow the Hedgehog. After he escapes from Prison Island, he seeks revenge for the death of Maria. Later, he teams up with Gerald Robotnik, so Team Sonic must stop this threat before things will probably get worse. Okay, maybe that made no sense. Later, he teams up with Gerald Robotnik, so Team Sonic must stop this threat before things will get worse. I think that's the plot without spoiling anything, in case you haven't seen it. So the plot for Sonic 3 is like Sonic Adventure 2, but in a more revamped version to fit the family-friendly format for this movie, and I like that. And the plot is engaging as well and easy to follow. It's not overly complicated, doesn't copy and paste the story of Sonic Adventure 2, because if they did that, everyone would know what would happen and it wouldn't be all that fun to enjoy the movie. It's also a very fast-paced movie with no non-human related subplots that take up the whole movie within like 2 hours, just like the second one did. It was also a bit shorter and well balanced, and I know that most people may not like that, but it's fine. I think it's okay. I think the CGI for the characters is by far the best I've ever seen in my life. The textures for the fur on them look well done and pretty nice. It looks way better than it was in Sonic 2. It looked very vibrant and less grayed out and boring to look at. And the budget for this movie has increased to make this ambitious and look visually appealing. And Shadow also looks amazing. The textures in the rain look awesome with him. And in Tokyo, with the color grading and all the neon lights shining on him, his design also looks really good. And the action has to be the best I've ever seen in my life. They put a lot of effort into making it look awesome. The motorcycle chase scene was pretty good because Shadow was using his gun and they were going head to head with each other. And the Akira slide looked clean. Not an anime fan, but it looked pretty awesome. When Sonic X Shadow went super, it felt like I was watching something else. I know everyone else said that, but I think the third act felt like I was watching Man of Steel again. And sometimes I was watching Invincible. That makes no sense, it just felt, but the third act felt like Man of Steel and Invincible levels of crazy. The characterization in this movie is the best I have ever seen in my life. There is a lot of character development and character depth to each person, including Shadow and Robotnik. In this one, Sonic learns how to be a team leader and sometimes goes off on his own. But near the end, he realizes that he doesn't only have a team, he has friends, and they act like a family when they're on screen. Tom and Maddie have a good role in this one. They act like parents to our main characters. Mostly Tom, because he acts like a father figure to Sonic because his other guardian died in the first movie. And having him nearly get killed raises the stakes for this movie. But he lives in the end. Shadow was also well characterized in this movie. He wasn't portrayed as this edgy guy to make fun of or something like that. He had actual character development and depth. Shadow landed on Earth 50 years ago and only found grief and loss. So Gerald teams up with Shadow to get revenge on humanity for taking Maria away from them. But Sonic makes him realize that he always has a choice and that making the right one isn't always easy. And I've noticed this upon rewatching this movie on digital a month ago. The parallels between the two of them are so good. When Sonic came to Earth, he found his family, who are Tom and Maddie. And when Shadow came to Earth, his family was Gerald and Maria. But 50 years ago, that was all taken from him and changed who he is. Sonic went through something a little similar with Longclaw and the Echidnas in the first movie. She died saving Sonic, and after 10 years, he didn't let that pain change who he was because he had friends and family that could count on him. And these parallels are done pretty well. Eggman had a good character arc as well. Bro wanted to control the world, but in the end, he saved the world. The reason why he wants to rule the world is because he had no one in his life and everyone rejected him. The only person who was still alive was Gerald, and he didn't realize that he was being manipulated into destroying the world instead of being an actual human being. And also the only person that cared about him was Agent Stone. I should have just mentioned that in the script. But Ivo did the most human thing, which was sacrificing himself to save the world instead of ruling it. That was the best character development ever. In the first movie, he wants to capture Sonic. In the second movie, he wants to destroy the world. And in this movie, he saves the world. And his transformation into becoming the Robotnik we know was pretty darn awesome. The acting and voice acting is pretty darn good as well. The rest of the physical actors were pretty good, and the voice acting was really good as usual. But Keanu Reeves and Jim Carrey stole the show for me. Keanu didn't sound like he was just some celebrity voice actor just for the sake of making money. He did his character justice. He said that he studied the character and what his backstory was really like. And Jim Carrey really locked in this time. He looked like he was having fun as well. He didn't just play one Robotnik, but two Robotniks. He plays Gerald Robotnik. He plays Gerald Robotnik very well and captures the insanity of his character. Bro does it very well, and how he played two characters is insane. Pretty sure they use a stunt double to do this, but from what I've seen in the BTS, they filmed his Ivo Robotnik in one day and then Gerald Robotnik for the next day. But from what I've seen in the BTS stuff, they filmed his Ivo Robotnik character in one day and then Gerald Robotnik the next day. They must have used some green screen stuff to fit him in the scenes, but whatever they did a great job doing it. Jim Carrey also played Gerald very well. He is spiteful of humanity because of what happened 50 years ago. He's also manipulative towards Shadow and Ivo because he wants to I don't know, destroy the world. That's probably what I said. Jim Carrey brought the humor to the two characters. The breaking the fourth wall joke had me in the theater laughing. And for some reason, no one laughed when it's mostly Sonic making jokes, but when it's Jim Carrey, people start laughing. The reason why people don't laugh at most of Sonic's jokes is because he can be annoying at times, and I can understand that. But it's fine, it's a kid's movie after all. I also like the Robotnik versus Robotnik fight scene. No need to explain myself, the footage speaks for itself. Okay, so this section might be short, but I just want to get it out of the way, and I want to say that this soundtrack is probably the best thing that I've ever heard in my life. It's probably because most of the soundtrack was from the games, and mostly because people didn't like how generic the first two soundtracks for the last two movies were. So the composer, Junkie XL, he locked in and took all that criticism and made the best soundtrack ever. And he was using Live and Learn. That was crazy. He used Live and Learn, the epic version of Live and Learn. That was awesome. And also I should have told you this, that Live and Learn is mostly Shadow's theme song. That's probably it, I guess. The licensed music is fine. I actually like the neon lights for the Tokyo arrival scene because the city has a lot of bright lights at night. The 70s song for Shadow's backstory was used pretty well because it takes place in the 70s. It's fine, so I'll take it. Well, this movie was amazing. The characters were amazing, the voice acting was good, the plot was the best, the humor was well balanced, and the music and action were so good. This movie did my man Shadow justice and allowed him to make a spin-off show or movie about him. Hopefully, this movie cared about the fans and less about the money for this one. Even though it didn't make like 500 million at the box office, I'm still happy that they're actually making a fourth movie. Maybe they can expand their characters a lot more and see what's next for them. Oh, and one more thing, Amy and Metal Sonic are in the post-credit scenes, and Shadow doesn't die. Yeah. Alright, let's get to the conclusion. I'm gonna say this. I love these movies. These have to be one of my favorite films in 2024. Aside from these two being announced in 2022 and released 2 years later, they are not similar to each other. Deadpool and Wolverine has a multiversal story, and Sonic 3 has a story that's a little bit different from Sonic Adventure 2, just to fit the family-friendly format. I think they're a little bit similar because these two movies are made by people who have passion for them and don't have any corporate greed to them. In 2022, Sonic 3 was announced 2 months before the second one was released, and when I saw the post-credit scene, I was immediately ready for the third movie. During the fall of that year, Deadpool and Wolverine was announced, and I was also excited for that as well. Those were my 2 anticipated movies of 2024 because I love both of these things. Sonic is my childhood, and Deadpool I was getting into at the time. And I was beginning to like the anti-hero at the time. He was pretty cool. But overall, these movies are really good, their stories are really good, their character developments are the best I've ever seen in a while. The scores were amazing, and they look great visually and have a lot of passion put into them, and are not treated as soulish. Why do we keep saying soulish? And are not treated as soulless cash grabs at all. So they're good, and I love them so much, and they are super rewatchable. I think that's all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed my rambling for 20 minutes or more, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss a video. And thank you guys so much for the support on the audience reactions for Sonic 3, and I plan to do more of them this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing everything as I announced this year, like music for example, but I'm going to try to make as much content as I can this year because I have an actual real life to focus on as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. See you all later. Peace!